Most people believe that their day truly begins when they take their first conscious action, perhaps checking a notification on their smartphone, stepping into a warm shower, or taking that first, much anticipated sip of coffee. But from a biological and metabolic perspective, your day starts the very microsecond your eyes open. The first 60 minutes after you wake up are not just a transition from sleep to wakefulness. They are a critical window that sets the hormonal, chemical, and metabolic tone for your entire 24-hour cycle. Welcome back to Metabolism Matters. Today, we are embarking on an essential journey into a topic that is often ignored, sidelined, or misunderstood until it is far too late: the health and longevity of your kidneys. Your kidneys are the silent, tireless guardians of your internal environment. These two bean-shaped organs, each about the size of a computer mouse, architectural masterpieces of biology. Every single day, they filter approximately 50 gallons of blood. They do not just produce urine. They are sophisticated chemical plants that balance your body's fluid levels, manage essential electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and phosphorus, and filter out toxic waste products that would otherwise accumulate and poison your entire system. However, recent scientific investigations show that millions of adults, particularly those who have crossed the milestone of age 50, begin their morning with a series of habits that slowly, silently, and systematically damage their renal function. These routines often appear perfectly normal, sometimes even healthy or efficient in our fast-paced world, but their cumulative effect over months and years is nothing short of dangerous. Are you putting your kidneys at risk without even knowing it? Today, we are deconstructing the science of the first hour to save your renal health. The first habit we must dismantle is one that has gained a strange kind of popularity in modern fitness circles, often masked as a tool for liberation: skipping breakfast. For many adults over 50, skipping that first meal of the day feels like a way to simplify a busy morning, or perhaps a method to control their weight. There is a certain feeling of lightness and stability that comes with an empty stomach in the early hours. But this feeling is deceptive. This habit hides a silent, metabolic burden that your body simply cannot ignore for long. Clinical research and long-term studies reveal a startling reality. Adults over the age of 50 who regularly skip their breakfast have up to a 30% higher probability of developing chronic kidney disease compared to those who eat a consistent morning meal. This is not a sudden, catastrophic failure that you can feel overnight. It is a slow, erosive process that builds day by day, year after year. To understand why this happens, we have to look at how the body reacts when it is denied fuel after a long night of natural fasting. When you skip breakfast, your body's internal chemistry enters a state of high alert. Research shows that when you finally do eat your first meal later in the day, your blood sugar levels spike much more aggressively than they would have if you had broken your fast earlier. To manage this massive influx of glucose, your pancreas must secrete a huge surge of insulin. These rapid, violent fluctuations in blood sugar and insulin put an incredible strain on your kidneys. They are forced to filter more blood and work under metabolic stress to adjust to these sudden changes over time. This mechanical and chemical stress wears down the nephrons, the delicate, microscopic units of filtration that make up the kidney. Once a nephron is damaged, it does not grow back. You are born with a set amount, and protecting them is your primary job in aging. A landmark study published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases has confirmed that irregular breakfast patterns are directly linked to higher levels of protein in the urine, a condition known as albuminuria. In the world of medicine, protein in the urine is a loud, early warning siren, a red flag, indicating that your kidneys are struggling to keep essential nutrients in the blood and are beginning to leak. Think of your metabolism like a high-performance engine. Skipping breakfast is like asking a car to drive at 70 miles per hour immediately after a cold start in the middle of winter without letting the oil circulate or the engine warm up. You might not see smoke from the hood today, but you are creating microscopic wear and tear that will lead to a total engine failure. Years down the line, there is also a profound connection to your cardiovascular system that directly impacts renal health. Adults who skip breakfast often experience a significant increase in their morning blood pressure. Some studies indicate that blood pressure can jump between 10 and 15 points in the hours following a skipped meal. This forces the kidneys to perform their filtration duties under much higher pressure than they were designed to withstand. The tiny, fragile blood vessels inside the kidneys are susceptible to this pressure, and over time, they begin to harden and scar. This creates a vicious cycle where high blood pressure damages the kidneys, and damaged kidneys further increase your blood pressure. Furthermore, skipping breakfast affects your hydration levels. Most people associate breakfast with a beverage, whether it's water, tea, or a healthy juice. By skipping the meal, many people also skip their first major intake of fluids. This leads to morning dehydration, which means your kidneys are forced to filter blood that is thicker and more concentrated than it should be. This concentration increases the friction and the effort required for the filtration process, adding another layer of unnecessary stress. So, what makes a breakfast protective for your kidneys? It isn't about eating a massive, heavy meal. It is about balance and consistency. Foods that are rich in fiber, moderate in high-quality protein, and balanced with healthy fats are the ideal fuel. Think of a bowl of steel-cut oats, organic eggs, or unsweetened Greek yogurt with fresh berries. These foods provide a steady, slow release of energy, preventing the insulin spikes that damage your filtration units. By eating at roughly the same time every morning, you provide your kidneys with a predictable schedule, allowing them to function at peak efficiency with the least amount of internal friction. The danger to your renal health does not end with a skipped breakfast. In fact, for many, the second habit of the morning is even more directly toxic to the physical structure of the kidney. We are talking about the ritual of reaching for painkillers the very moment you step out of bed. Whether it is for lower back stiffness, the lingering ache of arthritis in your joints, or a recurring tension headache, millions of adults over the age of 50 rely on over-the-counter, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs, to start their day. This habit often forms so quickly because the relief feels almost miraculous. Within 20 minutes, the pain dulls, the joints loosen, and you feel normal again. But behind this veil of instant comfort, your kidneys are entering a state of emergency. To understand the gravity of this, we must look at how these medications actually work. When you swallow an analgesic on an empty stomach, or with just a few sips of coffee, the drug is absorbed rapidly into your bloodstream. These chemicals work by inhibiting enzymes that produce prostaglandins. In your joints, this reduces pain. But in your kidneys, prostaglandins are the signals that keep your blood vessels open. When you suppress them, the blood vessels in your kidneys contract sharply. This creates a state of ischemia, a lack of oxygen and nutrients reaching the delicate filtration units. Recent medical research and data from 2023 confirm a frightening statistic. Adults over the age of 50 who use these medications daily in the morning face double the risk of suffering an acute kidney injury. Each time you take that pill without proper hydration, your kidneys are forced to filter concentrated chemicals through vessels that are already starving for oxygen. The filtration process slows down, and the blood becomes concentrated, forcing the organ to strain under a heavy chemical load. This isn't just a temporary stress. If this habit continues day after day, year after year, it leads to a permanent condition called fibrosis. This is essentially the scarring of the kidney. Your once supple renal tissues begin to harden, losing their ability to filter waste forever. Because your kidneys do not have pain receptors on the inside, you will not feel this happening. You might feel great because your back doesn't hurt, but your creatinine levels could be shifting and protein could be leaking into your urine. Without a single outward symptom, the comfort you feel has a subtle but serious long-term cost. But the chemical assault on the kidneys often doesn't stop with medication. For many, the next part of the morning ritual involves another highly addictive and destructive habit: smoking or vaping immediately after waking up. while the user may feel a deceptive sense of relaxation or a kickstart. To the brain, the kidneys experience an immediate vascular crisis. The moment nicotine enters your system, it triggers an immediate constriction of your entire vascular network. Your kidneys, which are essentially a massive network of tiny, sensitive blood vessels, are the first to suffer. They filter roughly 50 gallons of blood every day, and they require a massive and steady flow of oxygenated blood to do their job. When you introduce nicotine into your system during that sensitive first hour after sleep, you are essentially choking your kidneys just as they are trying to wake up and begin their daily filtration cycle. Scientific studies are clear on the magnitude of this risk. Smokers have a 50% higher chance of developing chronic kidney disease compared to those who have never touched a cigarette. The morning cigarette is particularly lethal because it causes a sharp spike in blood pressure, often between 10 and 15 points, at a time when your body is already adjusting its internal pressure after hours of rest. This sudden surge forces the kidneys to filter under extreme tension, weakening the delicate renal vessels slowly over time. Beyond the nicotine, the thousands of other chemical additives and byproducts found in smoke and vapor create a massive wave of oxidative stress. These free radicals travel through the blood and directly irritate the inner lining of the kidneys. This leads to a decrease in filtration efficiency and a buildup of waste in your body that should have been eliminated. For an adult over 50, who may already be dealing with slightly elevated glucose or blood pressure, the morning smoke acts as a multiplier of risk. It accelerates the wear and tear on your organs, moving you closer to the possibility of dialysis or total kidney failure with every puff. If you are struggling with this habit, it is vital to understand that the timing of your exposure matters just as much as the habit itself. Research indicates that smoking later in the day, after you have hydrated and eaten, carries a slightly lower immediate stress load than that very first inhalation after waking up. Your kidneys are at their most vulnerable during that first hour. Taking the step to at least delay this habit and drinking a large glass of water first can provide your kidneys with a small but significant layer of protection. We now arrive at a ritual that is perhaps the most beloved, yet most misunderstood, morning habit in the world: the consumption of coffee or tea on a completely empty stomach. For millions of adults over the age of 50, this first hot sip is non-negotiable. It feels almost magical. It wakes up the mind, provides a spark of energy, and generates a sense of calm before the chaos of the day begins. However, beneath this comfort lies a hidden strain that can push your kidneys to their limit. The habit of drinking coffee or tea immediately after waking up, before any food or water has touched your lips, is a direct challenge to your renal system. Caffeine is a powerful stimulant that acts with incredible speed on your nervous system, but it is also a diuretic that increases the production of urine. When you wake up, your body is naturally in a state of mild dehydration after hours of fasting during sleep. By introducing caffeine into this environment, you are forcing your kidneys to filter blood that is already more concentrated than it should be. Scientific studies demonstrate that consuming caffeine before breakfast can spike your morning blood pressure by up to 10 points. While this might seem like a minor fluctuation, when it is repeated every single day for decades, it creates chronic tension in the delicate renal vessels. But the damage goes beyond simple pressure. Caffeine on an empty stomach triggers a sharp, unnatural rise in cortisol, the primary stress hormone. This hormonal surge forces the kidneys to work twice as hard to maintain the delicate balance of fluids and electrolytes. Furthermore, coffee and tea affect how your body handles essential minerals. Drinking them without food reduces your absorption of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Your kidneys must then compensate for these fluctuations, adjusting the entire chemical composition of your blood in a matter of minutes. Research has shown that adults over 50 who consume caffeine before their first meal show significantly higher levels of urinary albumin, an undeniable marker that the kidneys are working under extreme stress. So, how do we stop this cycle of silent damage? The answer is not to give up your morning rituals, but to adjust them with scientific awareness. The first and most vital ally in your journey to renal health is simple hydration. Drinking a large glass of water immediately upon waking reduces the concentration of chemicals and toxins in your blood. It provides the warm-up your kidneys need to filter efficiently for the rest of the day. Instead of skipping breakfast, choose foods that act as a shield. A balanced meal containing fiber, moderate protein, and healthy fats will stabilize your blood sugar and prevent the insulin spikes that are so destructive to your filtration units. Think of oatmeal, Greek yogurt, or eggs as the metabolic foundation for your day. And when it comes to coffee or tea, the rule is simple: wait. By drinking your caffeine after you have hydrated and eaten, you significantly reduce the blood pressure spike and the hormonal stress on your organs. If you struggle with morning pain, consider that movement can be medicine. Gentle stretching, a short walk, or even a warm compress can loosen stiff joints and alleviate headaches without the chemical burden of a daily pill. These small adjustments don't just protect your kidneys, they improve your energy, your heart health, and your overall sense of well-being. Your journey with Metabolism Matters is about more than just losing fat. It is about respecting the biological machinery that keeps you alive. Your kidneys are your silent workers. They don't complain until the damage is already severe. By making these changes in your first hour of the day, you are taking control of your health and ensuring that your metabolism remains strong and efficient for decades to come. Thank you for being part of this deep dive today. If you feel that this information has given you a real solution and a new perspective on your health, please write the word relief in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to help us reach more people who need this knowledge. I'm so proud of the commitment you are making to your body. I will see you in the next video. Because remember, your metabolism and your kidneys truly matter.